Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have the newly EZA'd MVP 17. He is indeed rainbowed. I also have him at level 10 links as well. And we also have him on the 200% lead under Gamma 2. So a pretty solid setup if I do say so myself. One thing I have noticed with this guy is the best units he can link with are either on reps, which hasn't been touched and is a category that has been dead for like last 2 years. So whenever Dokkan decides to drop new support and new units for that, this guy is going to have a very special and reserved spot on that team. Not only that, units that have aged quite a lot. So the units he links really well with are the basically Reps Universe 7 unit, shares 6 links with them. The old Fizz Androids unit needs an EZA. The Android 17 and Golden Freeze unit needs an EZA. LR Go Freezer, who by this point, their damage is still pretty good, but they've aged quite a bit. And then the other like units he actually links well with, who he can actually be run on teams within difficult content. You're looking at like the 16 and 18 that we have on our team right now, who, depending on dupes, can be hit and miss. Gamma 1 and 2, which his best bet there would be floating. Then the new Super 17, who at 55% isn't the best, and not the best Dokkan Fest in general, even not at 55%. And then you have the old EZA Super 17, who's actually still pretty solid. So in terms of linking partners, doesn't have the best setup right now. As I said, once they start dropping new reps units, he should be okay. But in terms of the first term, we do have Android Assault, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle active. And we should be getting the Gamma support as well, because they're both on the rotation. So we're starting with a 292k attack stat, 251k defense, which that starter turn defense, considering he's going to have 17% damage reduction, isn't bad. And of course, if our HP drops below 77% or less, we'll get the extra 40% damage reduction, along with giving allies 17% defense. So let's pop him in slot 1, and we'll see what he's putting out turn 1, and see what he's doing with only 3 links active. But do let me know what you think down in the comments of this new EZA for MVP 17. And he's starting with 6.8. Again, he is getting the support from, I can't remember which one, but either Gamma 1 and 2, because they're both on rotation together. The 6.8 is pretty good. That's solid, that's decent. And of course, on Super, he will raise his defense by 30% as well. That's not bad. I'm not gonna lie, that's not bad. That is not bad. Who are we gonna rotate off first? Do you know what? We'll rotate off the... Yeah, we'll rotate off the 18 and 16 first, because then they share 4 links with him, along with providing a little bit of support. So, you know, you're more likely to take 19 and Jiro over them, just because they are a little bit more consistent of how good they can be with the nullification and defense raise on Super. So we'll rotate them off and see how he does partner up with them. But 6.8 million attack stat, considering how good 17 can be defensively and how strong his support is. Like, bear in mind, he doesn't give any allies attack, but key +3 and a whole defense +60% is really, really nice. Especially when defense is so valued nowadays because of how hard content hits. 60% is massive. Not to mention as well, could you imagine if you were running Super 17 on a rotation, someone next to him, and then you have like an actual support unit like 19 and Jiro in slot 3? Can you imagine the total amount of support you're going to be giving a unit, especially defensively? Like, it all adds up. So now we have him next to Super 17, who he does actually share the same links with Gamma 2. So we're still on 292 and 266 in terms of the attack and defense. So maybe we didn't. No, we should have had the support. Maybe we still have some. But either way, still 6.8 solid. I won't lie. For how good he can be defensively, 6.8 is solid. Solid damage to be doing. He also gets that 30% defense raise on Super. The only thing I can see with 17 is if you don't get your HP down to 77% or less quick enough. Like, let's just say you've been quite lucky in terms of, or maybe in this case, not very lucky. But let's just say you've been quite lucky in terms of you haven't been supered that many times, or the wrong unit hasn't really been hit. So you've pretty much got almost full health, which I'm not gonna lie, doesn't happen too often in red zone, so you probably won't have to worry about it. Like, getting your HP to that condition should be fairly easy. Imagine you don't get there and you super attack with MVP 17, you get that 30% defense raise. That's only going to be 30% defense on top of what, the 260k defense-ish that he's got with 17% damage reduction, which it's decent in early phases of some red zone stages. But it's not a lot. It's not a lot. Now, that's no by any shape or form me calling him bad. Like, he's a very decent EZA. He's very solid. Which is one of my main gripes with him right now. Is he doesn't have, at least in my opinion, he doesn't have anywhere he can really shine. Like, yeah, you could put him on one of the androids categories. Unfortunately, a lot of the android units have aged quite a bit at this point. It's still decent and it can still work. But as I said, a lot of the top units have kind of aged. That's where most of his links can come from. Not to mention, it's a super class android unit and has like Tournament of Power, solid support. So, and as I already said in the beginning of the video, a lot of the better units he links with do come from the Reps Universe 7 category. But unfortunately, a lot of them need EZAs. And the ones that have already got EZAs, that category hasn't been touched or supported in like 2 years at this point. So he doesn't really have like a standout place he can really thrive right now, category-wise. But he's still a very decent and very solid EZA nonetheless. I won't lie, like, I do like the look of him, and I can't wait to try him in like red zone. But I said he just doesn't really have like a standout category at the moment, because I said, you, on the one hand, Reps needs a lot of help, because I said it just hasn't been touched in so long. Units need EZAs, we need new leads, new units. Those units are far too old at this point. And then when it comes to androids, there's still some very good android units, but unfortunately he misses out on some of the buffs he can get because he's not an extreme unit, which is, you know, it's a little bit annoying, but it's neither here nor there. And also on top of that, you know, because he is a superclass android unit and he has like Tournament of Power and things like that, he doesn't link up as well with some of those android units. And even then, some of their better units are starting to age and they don't really have like a slot 1 unit. So I said, like, he's good and he is runnable. And I mean, especially with this team with the Gammas, like, you can just have an isolated rotation with Gamma 1 and 2. You have Gamma 2, or the friend Gamma 2 float. And then 17 could partner up with EZA Super 17, he should be fine. And with the support of like 19 and Jiro, he should be good. But it's not like a great or a perfect setup for him right now. So I said, he doesn't really have a place where he can like proper like thrive at the moment. But I'm pretty sure we're getting some support from 16 and 18, right? All allies attack plus 18% and defense plus 34%. I mean, specifically with these, they only give their support when you're facing a superclass enemy. What else do they do? When there's a superclass ally attacking in the same turn. Oh, no, that applies for them, to be fair. Extreme class ally attacking in the same turn. All allies attack plus 34% and defense plus 16% when there's a superclass enemy. And then all allies attack plus 18% and defense plus 34% when there's an extreme class enemy. Oh yeah, I forgot. You get more attack from them, from their support, when you're facing a superclass, and then vice versa. So that's why... Okay, I remember what the support is now. So that's why we're on a 334k attack stat and only 216k defense. Of course, his defense being this low wouldn't actually be a problem, because when we get to that 77% HP threshold, that's when his extra 40% damage reduction is going to kick in, which a total of 57% damage reduction, and then with the 30% defense raise on super, with like just over 200k he starts with, you're looking at like 7.7 is really nice though, by the way. Like, really nice. But still, like, around about 300-ish K defense with 57% damage reduction is pretty good. That'll work out really well. It's just, at the moment, we can't really trigger it, considering we're not in the hardest hitting content. You know, we'll see that more when he's in red zone. But this 17 has a lot going for him. I said he just doesn't really have, like, a definitive place for him on a category right now. Like, doing 6 to 7 million, especially considering how defensive a unit he is, or can be, is pretty solid. You know, he's a bit more of an older unit as well, so you're more likely to have dupes in him, so if he does hit an additional, a double defensive raise will be nice. It probably won't impact him too much, but getting a little bit extra damage off is nice. You know, that's 6 to 7 million twice. He can do some solid damage. Again, he's an older unit, so a crit could pop up here and there or in both. Then he could have a double defensive raise of 30%, which is good. Defense is not the best, but because he has so much damage reduction, it kind of balances itself out where he should be okay. And especially considering once he super attacks and then has his full damage reduction on top of that, he should work out quite well. So defensively, he's pretty good. He's pretty solid. He's putting out some solid numbers. And then he just has that very good key +3 and defense +60%, which he can just offer out, which I do like a lot. Like, the defense is so, like, giving out 60% defense is just so good, especially with how valuable defense can be in difficult content nowadays. But we are getting that 19 enduro support. So we are on a 300k attack stat and 389k defense. I'm going to put him in slot 1 just to see if we can, like, get our HP to drop below 77% or less. That's pretty good. A 19 enduro is viable in difficult content. So you're talking about like almost 400k defense with then a 30% defense raise, and then again all that damage reduction he could possibly get. So with a 19 enduro on rotation defensively, he's actually very good with that level of defense and all the damage reduction. And again, especially if you hit an additional super and get the second 30% defense raise. And then how can I forget, when you do get to the HP threshold, that's another 17% defense to all allies, so that's 77% defense in total. That's huge. So yeah, I really do like this EZA a lot. He has a lot going for him. Unfortunately, you can't link him up that well, as I said, in terms of a lot of the units have aged too much now. Reps has not been touched. A lot of them units need to be EZA, not to mention we need a 200% lead for that team. And then not only that, on top of that, we just generally need that team needs a whole like revitalization. It needs a lot of help. We need new leads, new units, EZAs a lot. And some of the better Android units, they're starting to age a little bit as well. Or you have Strength Super 17 who isn't that great. And a lot of you probably haven't summoned for. So he's very good and he has a lot going for him. Solid damage, very good support, especially once you get to that threshold. Defense is enough, especially with all the damage reduction. I love that support. As I said, solid damage output as well. Like, he's a very good EZA. He just doesn't have a standout category right now where you can go like, wow, look at what MVP 17 can do on this team. So again, once Reps gets, you know, some new units, some love, some EZAs as well, yeah, this guy will be up. This guy will be winning. I mean, especially with the new standbys as well, which will literally be here during Global's anniversary in like a month's time. With standbys being a thing, maybe sometime in the future, we could potentially see a standby 17 and go Freezer unit, and this guy will potentially link almost perfectly with it. Or link very well with him. Or them, shall I say. And then there could be a 200% lead for Reps. You know, he'll have a good place to be. He'll link very well. You know, the support. I said, this guy has a lot going for him. Like, I like his EZA a lot. Like, a whole bunch. I love how now we hit the threshold, not that it matters. But he has a whole lot going for him. It's just, in terms of who you're pairing him up with, he doesn't really have a good partner right now. And, you know, the categories where he can link up well, or the units he can link up well with, have aged, need EZAs, and need a lot of help in terms of reps. Yeah, good damage. Solid defense, especially with all the damage reduction, and great support. He just doesn't have a standout category right now, which is a shame, but he's still very, very good, and I can't wait to try him out in Red Zone to see how he really does, especially when it's going to be a lot easier to trigger that 77% HP threshold, because obviously you just take more damage there. Yeah, he's very good. He has a whole lot going for him. A whole lot going for him. I'll be really intrigued to see how well he does, or how well he will have aged. As I said, once Reps does get the help it does need. But yeah, I like him. I like him. We're going to see what he's truly made of once we get him into Red Zone. But do let me know your thoughts down in the comments. While you're there as well, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.